In Batman the Animated Series, Gotham City was arguably a character in its own right, with dark, oppressive buildings looming in every scene. In many episodes, and especially the new Batman adventures, the red night sky overwhelmed the neon-filled city. Gotham was filled with imposing Art Deco skyscrapers, sinister labs or abandoned warehouses filled with deranged criminals and their henchmen. Gotham is a place that chews people up and spits them out. But there's one specific location that I want to focus on today, one that captured my imagination as a child, and that place is the World of the Future Fair from Batman Mask of the Phantasm. Now, for those that haven't seen it, firstly, what the hell's wrong with you? Go and watch it now. But Mask of the Phantasm revolves around a mysterious new vigilante murdering elderly gangsters. I know that doesn't sound exciting, but stay with me. The fact that the vigilante wears a black cape and hangs out in shadows means that the witnesses understandably believe them to be the Batman. Meanwhile, an old flame from Bruce Wayne's past returns to Gotham, causing him all sorts of emotional turmoil. Mask of the Phantasm was released in theatres on Christmas Day in 1993. And what a wonderful Christmas present it was. Sadly, I was never able to see it in cinemas. In fact, I don't even think it was widely released in the UK. But hey, I could be wrong. I was only a kid at the time. It was released on VHS in 1994, and I got it for my birthday. And let me tell you, this film blew my mind. Yes, the mystery of the Phantasm's identity wasn't exactly hard to solve, but my God, the production values on this film were astonishing, particularly the music. Now, the reason I bring up Gotham City as a character worth talking about is because one particular scene in this film. During a flashback between Bruce and his love interest, Andrea Beaumont, the woman who would one day become the Phantasm. Please don't complain at me about spoiling a near 30-year-old film. The Phantasm action figure that was released in 1993 spoiled her identity already. But I think it would be impossible to talk about this scene in question without first mentioning Andrea's eventual decline. So let me set the scene. Andrea is introduced as an old flame of Bruce's from before he became Batman. She was the one for Bruce. They were all set to get married and settle down. Only one day she upped and left Gotham with only a hastily written note containing 10 painful words.
Left with Dad. Too young. Need time. Forget about me.
Andrea was Bruce's last chance at having a normal life, and her departure led to him fulfilling his destiny to become Batman. What Bruce didn't realise was Andrea was forced to leave Gotham due to her father's business dealings with the mob. Essentially, Carl Beaumont, her father, embezzled money from the mob and was forced to leave Gotham in the middle of the night, taking Andrea with him for fear that she would be murdered in retaliation. However, they could only evade the mob for so long. Eventually, Carl was tracked down and murdered by a pre-acid bath Joker, who, by the way, was a mob enforcer, sending Andrea on a downward spiral towards her own destiny. Okay, so let's talk about the scene in question, a flashback to Bruce and Andrea at the World of the Future exhibit at Gotham World's Fair. The World of the Future is one of the central metaphors in Mask of the Phantasm. It is the potential future, what they could have been.
Look what they did to us! What we could have had! They had to pay!
It's a summary of their potential, a bright, shining world of tomorrow filled with possibility. Bruce and Andrea visit it together in their youth, riding a roller coaster through a scenic world of tomorrow, complete with an idyllic house of the future, displaying a 1950s idealized representation of a nuclear family. Bright, clean, positive, loving. No vengeance or the night in sight. Flash forward to the present, and the world of the future is a dilapidated ruin that has been taken over by the Joker. The House of Tomorrow has been corrupted by his presence. The furniture is in a state of ruin, and the happy homemaker robot has been transformed into a cackling, knife-wielding murder machine. The world of the future in the flashback represents the possibility of their love, while the present is representative of their reality. The Joker's presence has corrupted their lives, making it a nightmare. It's fitting that the world of the future has become the domain of the Joker, because that is the reality of Bruce and Andrea's lives. They have become consumed by him and his evil. Bruce spends much of his time battling the Joker, fighting to contain his madness, while Andrea seeks revenge on him for the death of her father. And let's just briefly touch on the gruesome fight between the Joker and Batman. The two of them loom over the miniature city, doing battle like kaiju in a monster movie. The Joker has complete control of the city and uses it to attack Batman. The traffic hits Batman in the ankle, while the Joker summons miniature fighting planes to take on the Cape Crusader. It is the literal personification of Gotham City being against Batman. No matter what he does to try to defend the city, it will lash out at him and cause him harm. Now, when Andrea eventually apprehends the Joker and is poised to end his life once and for all, the entire fair explodes, burning to the ground, and symbolizes the end of Andrea's involvement in Bruce's life. This is the end of any possibility they had of sharing their lives together. Now, it's not a subtle metaphor by any means, but oh my God, I love it so much. I mean, the globe at the center of the fair literally bursts into flames in front of Batman and explodes, causing him to tumble into the dark, watery depths of salvation. And once again, Bruce finds safety in the darkness, while Andrea becomes this intangible figure disappearing in a plume of smoke. Now, Batman the Animated Series is arguably most famous for creating Batman's mantra,
I am vengeance. I am the night. I am Batman.
But Bruce is fully aware of the folly of vengeance, and as Alfred so succinctly puts it,
Vengeance blackens the soul, Bruce. I always feared you would become that which you fought against. But Andrea fell into that pit years ago. And no one, not even you, could have pulled her back.
once Andrea achieves her goal of avenging her father, she has nothing in her life and sets sail off into the dark unknown on a ship.
I'm sorry. Do you want to be alone?
I am.
Andrea, dressed in a black veil, mourns the life she has lost and is never seen again until Batman and Robin Adventures Annual 1 and the Justice League Unlimited episode epilogue, but that's an entirely different matter. At the same time, Bruce awaits a call to action from the Bat Signal. He has suffered a devastating loss again, but remains steadfast in his commitment to the fight for justice. No matter how futile it might be, he is never going to give up, and he is always going to fight to improve other people's lives. Now, this reminds me of a quote that Kevin Conroy, the voice of Batman, R.I.P., I'm never, ever going to stop saying that, has in his Twitter bio. The greatest glory in living lies not in never failing, but in rising every time you fail. It's a Ralph Emerson quote there. Now, this also reminds me of another fitting Emerson quote. The purpose in life is not to be happy, it is to be useful, to be honourable, to be compassionate, to have it make some difference that you have lived and have lived well. I know Emerson wasn't talking about Batman at the time, but I tell you what, this quote fits the character like a glove, and I think that these are all words that we should strive to live by.